This is Due by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Alex Cox and Merlin Mann. This week's challenge, discover what humbles you. Hello.
Merlin Mann. Hello.
How's it going?
It's going
Everybody,
great.
nobody will let me have a clean open. It just doesn't happen. So that's okay. We come in hot.
I thought that was your preference. I think I've made an assumption. Also, I'm assuming what you mean.
You're not as
by
good
clean
at
open.
coming in hot.
No, I'm never have.
It's better to have like a reset. And honestly, maybe I'd be better with that too. I don't know.
What is a clean open? I don't know. I don't know what
Alex,
that means.
is that difficult to understand?
Yes, because some people consider a clean open a 3, 2, 1 clap. Some people consider everyone has their own routine.
Oh,
Some people
yeah.
consider it just when the host starts talking.
This is a question you really thought about. What is a clean opening?
Yeah.
I would say a good
Yes.
one version of a clean opening would be to not have two people speaking at the same time saying nothing in particular. That's just meta talk. But maybe maybe that
Okay.
makes people feel closer to us.
I think so. And
now
you
we're
know,
doing meta
it's-
talk
it's-
about the meta talk, which now you're in my wheelhouse.
Well, I was actually just in.
How do you feel about
kind
meta
of
talk?
your brain
How do you
house.
define meta talk?
See,
How do you
Merlin,
define questions?
Exactly.
Is this
do I
app
define
intent?
meta talk? do I define meta talk, for example, referencing the other show you do with John Siracusa about feelings, which is reconcilable differences?
Reconcilable.
where
That was very racist.
record against who? Who did I offend? You know what?
Well,
I don't want
people
to know.
with fake Chinese accents. Do you know how hurtful that is to
the
people with
Shane
fake?
Gillis defenders are so
I don't know what that means, but it's like you see that commercial. There's a commercial for there's something called shingles, which is a version of herpes, and it's real bad, and you don't want to
Wait.
get it.
Oh, wait, uh-oh. Well, there goes my streak. Sorry,
What is
go
shingle?
ahead.
Wait, I'm sorry. Do you want to know Do you want to know more about shingles before we proceed?
Please.
It's not. I mean, basically, it's a skin thing you don't want. And it's caused by a dormant virus that most of us carry around. And as you get older, according to the ads on cable TV, you're more likely to get it. Now, my wife, she's had the shot for it, and I want to get the shot for it. But the one that I see advertised on TV, you understand, it's called shingles, like on your roof of your home, right? And the
Yes,
name
but
of this
it's on
prescription,
the roof of your body. Yes.
I hadn't thought of it, but I bet you're. Oh yeah, that would be if I were a medievalist. I would say, "Oi, he got the shingles on his roof, innit?" Anyway, the brand name for this one shingle shot you can get is called Shingrix, which I think sounds very racist.
Holy fuck!
Can I still catch flied lice?
That is... Someone was in that boardroom going,
Yeah, look what I got
no
away
way. You know what? I hope so. Because
Yeah.
I think that means
Well, life is
that
just
they're-
little victories, Alex. You got to take them where you get them,
Yeah, if you hold hate in your heart, hopefully you're just holding it in there, and it's
Hold
not
hate in my
escaping.
heart for you.
Yeah. Or you'll be in my heart.
I got to make you
Collins.
louder. I should just start all over with everything. Hello.
Hello.
I kid, I Josh. But, I like the show as it is, mostly. I wish you'd change.
Mostly.
Yeah.
You're not the first person to say. You're the first person to say that recently.
Today.
So I suppose that's good.
So I get the first mover advantage. Moving into that vertical space.
The
Shingrix.
Shingrix.
Let's go ahead and look up shingles because I'll bet you, as you know, Alex, as you know, Bob, sometimes on this program for a long time, when a medical condition comes up, what do we like to do? We like to search for it on the website Google and see if they've made a special upsetting illustration about it. So I'm going to search for shingles. I don't, as you know, I don't normally use my computer when I'm recording a podcast. No, Mayo Clinic. Oh yeah. See, they're like little. It's like a cold sore, but all over your skin, and it really hurts. It's like chicken pox.
All right, this is very topical.
Oh,
and
well, the topical treatment is one way, but ordinarily you'd want to do it more systemically.
Thank you.
I think you're a topical cream. Herpes zoster. That'd be a pretty name for a girl. Go ahead.
Herpes zoster?
Herpes zoster. That's the name of shingles.
Herpes.
That's shingles' actual Christian name.
I'm
Herpes zoster.
Not obsessed,
no.
But I don't have, or rather, I don't know whether or not I have what is known as the human I don't know if I have any sort of
it's not that hard. You
herpes.
Can do it.
I can't even say
Human
reconcilable differences.
Hi. Human papillomavirus?
Yeah, and
I heard you gotta give all the girls shots for that, even if they claim they're not having intercourse. That's what I heard.
Ooh, shout out to my mom for my little 12-year-old Catholic self being like, and it was, like 2000 whatever, and this was a new the HPV vaccine was new.
It was parents were very upset about the pressure to give it to pubescent kids. I remember.
Yeah, but my mom was like, do it. Like, luckily we had a decent,
harm reduction. Because if you're out there getting finger blasted in the sacristy, you don't want to get herpes zoster.
I was like, Mom, no. Oh God, I don't want to know.
Finger blasted in the sacristy. No, that doesn't happen to girls.
Well, no, I wasn't lucky enough.
Catholics have been coming up a lot lately in my TV shows.
This is, I'm not going to dig, Doug, but the whole challenge this week, which I intentionally didn't remind you to do because I heard it happen multiple times on your other programs.
What?
It was very moving. Dig Dug this week's challenge.
Wait, what did I do on other shows? What?
You were just telling very humbling stories and very vulnerable ways of thinking about things, especially a meta sort of thinking.
I think it's where I derive my power, honestly. I swear to Christ. I think it's the only thing I have left that's anything like a tether to humanity is that vulnerability and like, I don't know, trying to be, I don't want to say trying to be positive, but I've been a happier person since I've learned to avoid automatically being negative. And that has given me a little bit of a viewport into the like, let's not always, let's always talk in hot takes about our emotions. Let's give people a break. And, I don't know. I mean, does that make me a bottom? Do I like being humbled? Do I crave it?
Well,
is it craveable?
What's the difference between humility and like self-flagellation? Like that.
I'll talk about this challenge. I wrote some stuff down.
I wrote.
Do you want to talk about the challenge?
Well, first, if anyone knows,
do no harm.
I'm serious. Hey, I'm doing the thing.
What is happening? What are you doing? Why are you talking to the audience?
Audience, I don't know if I have the human papillomavirus.
Okay.
And I've heard that there are.
You get lead, I bet.
Not
as much as me.
I did.
It is known.
Do I have any
known.
baby teeth?
Oh, you have so much less lead.
Well, I was the first one out too.
So yeah, you're the pipe cleaner from Mama's Lead.
that feels
better. Like taking a big shit. Man, I got rid of a baby and some of my lead. Sweet.
Oh boy, that's you know what? I'm going to write this down.
Okay.
I am going to use a computer during this, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to say it.
It's fine.
But
I honor you.
this is something different. This isn't about herpes. But
okay.
I wonder because I like in terms of like rolling the die with.
We're talking about
stuff.
We're talking about HPV still.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like with rolling the.
Let's learn about human papillomavirus.
My family and I. Yeah,
I don't know
learned
anything about
a
it
lot
at all.
I I don't know enough because, yeah. But I bet.
I don't want
bet
this.
It's dormant. Well, don't you have it? Because if you get a cold sore, isn't that what that is?
Okay. Okay. First of all, I do not want this. I do not want plantar warts. I do not want flat warts. I do not want common warts, and I do not want genital warts. I want none of the warts. But because I excel so much at keeping it in my pants, unless I get finger blasted and wasn't aware of it, I think I'll be okay.
Oh,
There's a whole range of things under the aegis of herpes, and I am, while I'm not an expert on this, I am not a medical doctor on this. There's subtlety a little bit to this stuff, because when people of my age first heard about herpes was a word for this dreaded, what do we say now? We used to say STD. Now they say STI. But basically, there's a thing that you can get sexually called herpes, and it gives you, I think, primarily. Well, here's the thing: when we first heard herpes, everybody thought, "Oh my God, if you've got herpes, you're a bad person, and you've had, bad sex with a bad person." As John Roderick once said, if Uncle Licky, gives you a kiss, you're probably a bad person. But there's all kind of herpes, and starting with the fact there's herpes 1, herpes 2, herpes. So there's the herpes that people like me get when they're stressed out. I've got herpes. Almost everybody's got it. I don't have. Oh God, why am I saying this? This is really not something I share.
You've talked about this. Oh no, you've talked about your cold sores many times.
I have, but now I'm about to say something I don't think I've ever said before, and I feel weird saying it because, as they would say on Law and Order, I'm opening the door to further questioning. But to my knowledge, I do not have genital herpes. I've never had genital herpes. I've had partners with full-on herpes, but the thing is, there's this thing. I think it sits at the base of your spine. It sits kind of dormant. And it can evidence, there's different kinds of herpes that evidence itself in different ways. So as much as people like John Roderick like to say, well, Uncle Licky made you have herpes and now you're a bad person. There are people, again, like me, who just, I get all the immune stuff. Almost all the immune stuff happens to me, including, I've got, it's very controllable. I've had psoriasis in the past, not super bad, but I've had that. Every time I get sick or would smoke too much weed in college, I'd run myself down. I'd always get a cold sore, and it was always at the worst time. I've been married twice. That is to say, I've been to my own wedding twice, and at each of my weddings, I had a cold sore.
Oh.
Perhaps predictably. Whatever, life goes on. And the nice thing about...
You cared.
Well, the good thing about if you get just the mouth herpes and the cold sores is they tend, at least for me, and I think for most people, they tend to become much less frequent and much less severe over time. So it's not like the species-ending event that it used to be. But then, then there's the genital kind. But then you've got herpes zoster, and I think the one we were just talking about, shingles. And then I think that what's the other one? I think chickenpox is a kind of herpes also. I think. But you only get that once if you get it.
Yeah, but then I'm like, wait. So then it's
Have you ever had chickenpox?
Yes,
I hated it. I hated it so much.
I have no memory, blissfully no memory of it.
I got it when I was at my big boy job in 1991. Within probably, I want to say about a year of working there, I came down with chickenpox. Because it was the culture of our office, and this is nobody's fault but my own, but I worked in an office where you didn't call in sick. It was considered to be honest, I'll be honest, even though men and women did it, it was kind of a macho thing. We do our work.
Even a decade ago in college, it's I
didn't understand until I was 25 why you give sick days to your employees. You give sick days to your employees so they don't make all the employees sick. And I feel so bad about this. I was 23 or so, and I got chickenpox, and I got all fucked up. And I'm pretty sure I'm the one that gave it to another one of the PhD toxicologists there. And it's and unlike mouth herpes, and hey, listen, seriously, you guys, I'm not a doctor, so go read up on this. I'm not trying to be, I can't be accurate about all of this, but I can tell you what I think and what I know. And I had it pretty bad. I mean, I got laid low in a way that, a lot of kids that get chickenpox and they're like, oh, whatever. I was really, really sick. But the guy that I'm pretty sure I'm the one who gave it to him, he was probably 35. And unlike the mouth herpes, this is like reverse herpes, where it gets worse as you get older. So the effects of chickenpox on a grown-ass man, it can make you infertile, as well as make you very, very ill. And I felt so bad
friends in the hospital because they got chickenpox. It's wild. Yeah, like they
because of symptoms or contagion. Was it symptoms?
I believe symptoms. Yes. Yeah.
No, but like where I'm sorry, I just mean to say where you're because like we used to have chickenpox parties where one kid gets chickenpox and then you make all of the kids in the neighborhood go play with each other and get chickenpox so that everybody gets it at the same time and you get it out of the way. That was one approach, the not herd immunity, but that kind of thing. But I'm saying in the case of your friend, it was that they got chickenpox and it wasn't just itchy, scratchy, annoying. Do you get
it was
fever?
like immune system.
Yeah, and it really runs you down. It's kind of like having mono.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is wild, and I don't understand it. And I remember just again, like having this friend was also Catholic, and he's like, you know what? I still feel kind of bad because like he basically got it because he was dating a girl, and he's like, I got sick from like it's not an STI, but like I got herpes from a girl. Why do I feel bad about this? And on like cold sores, it just getting worse as you get older. Like how is this the same thing? How is this all herpes? It is very confusing and fascinating. And
well, when I was getting it a lot and it was heavily affecting my life, I learned what I could about it. I eventually got a prescription for acyclovir, which is a topical that helps. I think now you can get it over the counter even, but like that used to be the thing that that you could do with it. But like it is kind of fascinating that viruses in general are completely fascinating to me. I could watch videos about viruses all day. They're tenacious little bastards. They're really viruses are like pretty ugly little machines that are really, really brilliant in the way that some of them work. Where they're almost like zombie.
Part of COVID was all the learning about the virus media out there.
That's why we're still washing our groceries, But yeah, anytime I would get run down and I don't get into it, but like the 80s was a real minefield because like you'd be like, oh, well, we got herpes. At least I don't have the other one,
Yeah, it feels like it's still like that.
It doesn't feel, it is indeed still like that. And
but Matt like I said, I had a girlfriend, like a wonderful friend, a girl friend. And she had it full on, and she hadn't initially told me when we got together, and she felt so bad when she told me about it.
Sucks.
Yeah. The thing is, though, I think you're only contagious. Well, I can't say. Like, for example, there are times where you can get a cold. Oh, this is really good. This is really good podcasting. You get a cold sore, and maybe you could actually pass it on to somebody through a drinking glass or whatever before you realize it. But I think most of your serious. You know what? I'm going to stop talking about this. There's no good way for this to end.
I'll end it in a not or in a confusing way. Like Matt has always like gotten cold sores, and
is it when he gets run down?
Not the other kind. No, it's random. Like it's not.
You can also get them from sun and wind.
Test. Yeah, like and I'm like, okay, is it acne or is it a cold sore? And
you can tell.
Still can't.
Like once you've had cold sores, it's a stress bump. You know the feeling, and you know that immediate sense of here it comes.
That's what he tells me.
It's like probably like getting your period a little bit, where you're like, it's not that confusing, and when you get the signals, it's pretty clear what's happening.
All right, I've heard you're telling me the opposite of I've been told a spectrum a spectrum of things, because I'm like, I don't know if I get cold sores, or rather I don't know if I have
you're
the
talking
thing,
about yourself. So you get a little, like they say in the UK, you get a spot. You're not sure, do I have a pimple or is this a stress bump?
But then a day later I'm like, oh yeah, this is absolutely acne, like adult acne. That's what testosterone does. It gives
Well, you
you a
can
lot
take
of
care
adult
of both
acne.
of
And
them
I'm like,
with a heated, very sharp needle and a lot of 91% rubbing alcohol.
ooh, no.
That's a
we
Roderick on the
learned-
line trick.
Oh, no.
No, that's not
V.
medical advice. Don't tell somebody to lance a cold sore at home. That's not good advice.
Go to your friend's house.
Go to your
for
friend's house. See how they're doing. The more
herd
you
and
know.
immunity. All right. I just want someone to tell me if I have a face, if I've ever had a cold sore. Because
Here's the
I
thing:
do-
is like
I want to know. I must.
Okay, and like
have
I'm
it,
not.
though.
I there's a phrase I have disliked for I think my entire life, and I only realized why I disliked it. It's like since probably my 20s. But I don't like it when somebody says, "I think I have X," and somebody says, "Oh no, if you had X, you'd know it," and you're like, "Well, I feel like I do know it." So I'm very reluctant to say to people, "Oh, if you had a cold sore, you know it." But what I can tell you is they feel different, not on the outside, but you feel there's a deeper tingle, like it's got little nervy roots, and it's very, very sensitive. Like getting a pimple on, that's no fun, and it's uncomfortable, and it can hurt. But but a cold sore is like, we should make this a challenge.
I unironically was thinking about this when you and Syracuse of Reconcilable Differences.
Hi.
That sounded less racist. Races now, I'm saying. Goodness gracious. Talking about how we communicate just with language versus how we
Oh my
hear
God.
words
The interior
in our
world.
mind.
Oh my
Yeah, but then I was
I
also
struggled so hard to explain why that's hard for me to explain. It's so weird
Who
to
can
talk
explain
about.
it well? No,
Yeah,
do
no. It's like talking
No
about
one-
God. It's like the more certainty you
Exactly.
feel when you talk about it, the more likely you are that you're talking about something that's not God. If it's explicable, then that's probably not how the dream really went. If it's explicable, it's probably not your actual cognitive process. It's that CGP Grey thing of your brain telling you what it needs to hear to make it through the day.
It's it is a mind fuck, especially at 6 a.m.
Are you worried about your health,
Chicago
Alex? Do you
time.
think you should get checked out?
No, I am just curious.
Do you think you might have the human papilloma?
I might. I don't know, because some people never show symptoms. So I could also, like you said,
You could be a carrier.
that I do.
You could be a
That's
typhoid
what
bay.
Wait. I don't. Why am I?
Oh, like Typhoid Mary.
Typhoid-
but it's a non-gender
okay.
specific carrier.
Typhoid Mary.
Typhoid Mary is, if memory serves, is a woman who's purported to have been sort of like, the Decon du Gars, like reported to have been like the patient zero of typhoid in
Oh,
one context. And like, yeah. People,
Hello.
hello, Typhoid Mary.
Is she?
Is there a Mr.
Nice little top
Typhoid?
bun.
Alex, can I be honest with you and just say that joke is always funny to me because it's dumb, not because it's clever. I mean, it's clever in a sideways way, but it's always funny to me when people say, "Is there a Mrs. Zoster?"
It's
Herpes Zoster's my father,
for
but doctor, I am Herpes Zoster. See, names are funny. Hello. Yes.
God.
I'm just going through all the things that are funny.
They are.
Raindrops on roses, whiskers on kittens. All that.
It's one of my list of lists is of things that are always funny, and
Oh, that's good.
well. There's the meta list of I've got the list of lists, and then the list of things that are funny, and the funny yeses. I should figure out a way to show this, because then we've talked about this. The
Yes.
funny, there's different
Yes, that's the
funny.
point. That's the whole
Yes.
goddamn point, Alex. There are funny yeses and there are funny hellos. I tell other people on podcasts how we talk about this. We already discussed this on the show.
But it's important.
Anyway, it's important.
Anyway,
Challenge this week is Alex's, and I do want to at least slightly gently prod your papilloma about what led you to this. But what I remember you saying your usual end of After Show Meltdown was that you wanted us to notice the things that make us feel humbled, or things that are humbling to us. Is kind of the rough idea, right?
Yes.
And it came
then
up
I
because why? I think I'd said something about how something humbles me.
I believe so. It
Yeah.
also was that was, oh, I don't know if I've told you this. Now it is out in the internet. That was the day my niece was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. And
What?
I was just
What?
like, yeah.
Oh, Alex,
yeah,
I'm
right?
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's-
Alex. No, one of
Yeah.
the little ones?
Yeah. Yeah.
Alex, I'm so sweet. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh my
it was.
God.
It
Oh,
was
your
during
family
the
must
show.
Be your family must be torn apart.
Yeah. It's.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Well, it's.
I mean, I'm sorry. I don't
No,
mean to
but-
say, I feel so bad for her and just for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the. When I say it's one of those things, it sounds like such a cliche,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
but the you know.
Trigger
suddenly
warning for
this
people who
kid-
don't like health talk.
Oh, sorry.
No. I'm just saying this entire show has been just a shit show of sad body horror. You ever really thinking about taking a shit? Oh, I'm very sorry. You ever really thinking about everybody does it and they don't talk about it. You could shit anywhere.
I do also kind of think of like I'll never know what it's like for someone else to evacuate their bowels, and I won't ever know what it's like to be.
That's
kicked in
why
the
we have theory of
testicles.
mind. Yeah. You gotta
That's what the Greeks talked about. They weren't worrying about whether or not Zeus was real.
no.
All right, we've got this new plumbing
You got
system.
Heraclitus and Parmenides, and they had two essentially different views of the world that are still reflected. Those are pre-Socratics, and to this day, Parmenides and Heraclitus still affect the way that we think about things. And Zeno, but we should save it for the show.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm more
this
of a Heraclitus guy. Heraclitus says you never step in the same river twice. Heraclitus says everything is
that tracks.
change. Parmenides says everything is stasis. Zeno says stuff like, he has the paradoxes.
and he was. I think Philip Seymour Hoffman was a fan of his, and then wrote the book about him.
He wrote a book about Zeno? PSH?
He was the
Wow.
I was making a reference to The Master, which is a reference to science
Oh.
and psychology,
Again.
which is a Paul Thomas Anderson.
Now, what did he say? What's his line?
film.
Repeat again? That amazing scene where he's not allowed to blink. Remember that?
Oh, now I do.
Oh, such a
See,
good scene.
I consider that like body horror. I didn't know what like body horror was really until recently, but like just the
Really?
idea of
You?
uh,
No. But seriously, like you wouldn't, like for me, I immediately think in a basic way, David Cronenberg, or or really a lot of monster stuff, excluding the stuff that's about nuclear war and trans people. Like so much of it is about like what happens when your body loses its integrity, or is when your body is, to use another word I like in that context, compromised. So like The Fly or whatever, or what's the Tetsuo the Iron Man, which is kind of the apotheosis of that stuff. Yeah. Oh, interesting. So that's a new word for you, huh? New phrase.
Iron Man. No, not a new. I just miss. I guess because of like the trans thing. It's just I thought body horror was, I guess, a more defined. Or rather, like my idea of body horror was much wider because it's like so many parts of the body are just horrifying, and the idea of being uncomfortable with your own body or watching someone be uncomfortable with their body is horrifying, along with like the Cronenbergian type thing. So it's like, Videodrome, but also Joaquin Phoenix not being able to blink is just very upsetting.
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I think it's a fascinating genre, and like it doesn't always have to be like over the top. I mean, I think The Substance would be one that addresses body horror on several levels, right?
That might be a perfect film.
I love that movie.
Sorry, I dropped that bomb. Sorry, proceed.
I love that movie.
Proceed.
I think it does what it wanted to do.
I think so.
But I mean, there's not just the body horror of like there's a zipper on my back and a little dancing girl comes out of it, but also just the body horror in the sense of the dissonance between what she sees on those posters in the hallway versus what she sees in the mirror, and that's constantly being like played back to her, the images of Demi Moore when she was young and all of that. And I don't know if you call it body horror, but definitely, I would say definitely like a physical, like body physical body dissonance. Or what's the word? You always fix me on this. I always get them wrong. There's dysphoria and dyslexia. Dyslexia Freeman?
Dysphoria and dysmorphia, which is a lot of what is in
so
the
remind
substance.
So remind me in our audience which is which.
Dysphoria there's a lot of overlapping, and it is
like
difficult to
is like you don't like the way
describe.
that you look. Dysmorphia is you have a broken idea of what you look like. So they always thought like Michael Jackson seemed to have the second one because he kept looking more and more like a skeleton man, but he kept getting surgery anyway. Or like people with anorexia. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like there's this.
It's the trigger episode
agree.
ever. Let's talk about Charlie Kirk.
Nope.
I hope they put his gums in the Smithsonian.
Oh my God. No.
Again, context. You see the teeth, but then he gets a big wide grin. You can really see he's got the Eric Trump gums on him. Trump gums.
There are some things that I have never commented about on the internet, and I'm really proud of that.
Yes.
So no. Yes.
We miss you, Gummy.
Shawnee.
Charlie!
I
I love you, Gummo. And I'm proud to be an American where my gums are half my mouth. And I call go, my boys, and we're heading out down south.
I did watch quite a bit of Charlie Kirk's memorial.
No, please don't.
What was fascinating?
So don't make it into a bit. No, that was just a funny thing.
It's not a bit. It's a fun. Yeah, go.
Okay, all right.
No. Okay. So yes, giant.
Body
Dysmorphia
horror.
would be if, like, you looked in the mirror and were like, "Oh my God, I have Charlie Kirk gums," but really you just have normal gums. And there's often people with dysphoria will also have some sort of dysmorphia because the parts of their body that cause them dysphoria,
makes sense.
they
That totally
will
makes sense.
hyperfixate on it.
Yes.
Like it's like, oh God, my hips are
Or
so
like my vestigial
you're a
tail.
trans man.
I had a friend with a little bit of a vestigial tail. You ever know anybody with that?
No, I wish.
Not
Did
a
he
full
show
on
it to
vest. I mean,
you?
he's not like Nightcrawler or something, but where there's
Well,
like
that's a full-on tail, right?
Well,
what makes something
in the Munich
vestigial,
Circus,
I
he was called
suppose.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Kurt. He's Catholic. He's super Catholic. He's a German Catholic. That's the worst kind of Catholic. But he would have like a little bit of, I think what happens is basically it's like a little bit of your spine kind of sticks out above your behind a little bit. You get like a little nubbin. I'm not gonna, now that I'm vestigial tail. Oh my God, Alex, the list of things in this episode that are upsetting. We can't release this. We can't even. We shouldn't even finish recording. We shouldn't even finish recording this. Everybody, I just like to say I'm really humbled by your interest in our program, where we talk about all of the worst stuff. Oh, what about the tears women get when they're giving birth? We could talk about. People love talking about their tears. Oh, you know what? What's the thing where weightlifters where their butt falls out? What's that called? A prolapse. We could talk about prolapse.
Yeah.
You ever seen that photo from back before we had memes? Big weightlifting guy, and he had a prolapse while he was lifting, and they had a photo of it.
I thought you were gonna say goatsy, and it was just so much worse. I'm not gonna look it up. I
have goatsy stickers on my Palm Pilot.
I am aware that
I don't know what you know.
This is something you have mentioned more often, I think.
I need to get my my
know.
information more widely distributed. I'm so picky
your
about.
goatsy sticker?
Well, I don't know who knows what.
All right. Why do you need your
Don't ask
things
questions.
more?
Don't ask questions. Don't tell lies. Can I have a couple of your French fries? I'm going to start speaking in rhymes. You know it is true because it rhymes. Lego Movie's funny. And so tell me how you, if you want, I'm happy to talk about this too. As you can probably guess, I've got some things, but I've also, as usual, like done the thing I'm so fucking annoying about, which is like when Syracuse and I do our whatever kinds of back and forth agreed to discussions of things, and we're always like figuring out what the rules are, in the same way that he herds those boys about which MP3 player they're to like. CDRs, F tier. But I'm always more interested in the rules, and because I do think the words are meaningful and humble. Well, we'll get to mine, but do you want to open with what interested you? What interested you about becoming aware of things that humble you?
It started with what, obviously, like hearing that about my niece during the recording, just being like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, all right, what's the difference between, again, like humility and just a form of self-flagellation that isn't actually vulnerability and is basically a flex? Well, I always
that's on my
that
list.
My vulnerability
that was one of my first big pushbacks. I'm so humbled to receive this Oscar.
Yeah. Yes. Like I don't know what that means. I still don't know what that means, which is why Anne Hathaway's speech at the Oscars, where she just said it came true and everyone was mad. I'm like, fuck you. Yes, Anne Hathaway, your dream came true. That was awesome. Even if it was rehearsed, beautiful. She was not humble. She was like, I won this Oscar and I deserved it. The idea of just humbling yourself as a performance, and especially online.
Oh yeah,
is like an obvious thing, but it's again a weird line of something. I'm like, do I actually value humility, and what does that mean to me? Because it's always two Catholics with me, because it's like,
and humble, because humble is kind of the adjectival version of humility, right? So
yeah. I think so.
No, it's interesting because they are, and yet they do have different shades of meaning, I think.
Wait, go on.
Well, no, I don't want to hijack your thing. But no, I mean, like, it's just, humility, people who have humility don't have to try to be humble. That's what makes them that's how they have humility. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yes,
people who try to develop humility because I guess they need to, that's when it becomes a little bit comical. Like, I'm one of the most humble people I've ever known. That kind of thing. Like, but like the whole idea of like wanting to develop more humility, seems like that would come from a good spot of wanting to, I don't know, I can't get too far into mine, but like part of it, it's not just branding and presentation, although that is part of it. I think part of it also is a certain amount, even with a good heart, or especially with a good heart, is fake it till you make it. And what's weird is though a lot of the people, a lot of people who aren't humble, in my opinion, who don't come across as humble, or people who have humility. I mean, think about words that you and I might use, like sweaty. Like, oh man, like can you talk about anything without telling me somebody famous you met once? Or can you, this is not directed at anybody, but just because it's apropos of our show, the whole like, I went to school near Boston kind of thing. Like, that's useful information to encode in some contexts. And then in other ones, it really just sounds like you want me to ask if you went to Yale or Harvard, But I don't know, this does start getting into mine just a little bit. But the words I keep thinking of are context and situation. Situation, the noun, as in how something is situated. And something is like situated in a context. And I think that the things that humble me, there are the things that make me feel bad about myself. I'm not as interested personally in those for this discussion. But honestly, I wrote down art and music. Art and music are things that really, truly humble me. And I think it's because of situation and context, because they situate me. The context is that they situate me inside of this much bigger world where grander things than me have been happening for a long time. That's the kind of humble that I'm interested in. You know what I mean? Not necessarily the kind of like, oh, you know, God, what's the guy's name? The writer for the show, the producer. He invented that term, humble brag, right? You know, it's the guy who wrote for Parks and Rec. The guy who had the drug overdose right after the show
but
ended.
I didn't. Oh shit! I did not know that.
What's his name? He's you know who you know him from. You know the
know
Animal
what
Control
you're
guys,
talking
the black guy and the
about.
white guy in Animal Control. And they tried to make a Fred Flintstone whistle out of a crow. The white guy, Harris Whittles.
Harris Whittles.
I'm pretty sure Harris Whittles. I'm not going to look this up, but I'm pretty sure he's the one
Funny
who
name.
coined the term humble brag.
I am going to look this up, but I'm not.
And a
going
humble
to
brag
tell you.
is when you say something that makes it sound like you are performing. No, makes it sound like you're a person who is humble. It makes you sound like a person with humility, but ultimately, sometimes not very subtly, nested in that performance of humility is bragging about something, which is kind of the opposite of humility. I know I'm over-explaining this, but that gives further context in a different way for what I'm trying to say about like, well, where does that come from? And like trying to perform humility by talking about your first world problem or whatever is like, it's not very cool and doesn't seem super self-aware, or it's at least not, it's probably not effectively communicating the thing that you hope it's communicating. I feel like.
Yeah. And
What's a good example of what's a
Yeah.
classic humble brag?
I like I was at
It was such an honor to blah, blah.
I was arrested at this protest or something.
I got one.
Like
I got one.
that.
I got one. Those people, usually some kind of like former celebrity. I'm going to say this in my own voice. I'm not going to pull any of our friends into this, although there's one of our friends I would love to pull into this. So it's people who post a shitty fucking Polaroid from 1981 of them with the fifth AD on the set of a movie and going, oh, tremendous loss today. We lost the great, Rupert Zosterwick. I had the pleasure and honor of working with Rupert on Amazon Titty Girls 6. In 1981, they post, it's a picture of them with the decedent. And there are people who just love posting old photos of them with somebody who just died. They present it as a celebration of that person's life. But see, now me, I'm old fashioned. The way I celebrate somebody's life is not mentioning that they're dead and pointing to something extraordinary that they made. Like that's the way I'd like to remember them is like, and then I don't want to have a big conversation about how sad it is that somebody died. It's like, no, you're missing the point. Whereas in that case, that you make that a person who does that, in my opinion, makes it completely about them. And then if they do it more than twice in a year, what a fucking freak. What a weird thing to do.
It's
Humble bragging about you having known somebody who's a little bit famous today is, and I'm sorry to, problematize it that aggressively, but it's kind of fucked up.
It's extremely fucked up, I think, to the point where I don't even register it because it's like, this is Diane Keaton. Like, I'm sure I saw some of those this past
I had the
week.
honor of being Diane Keaton's scarf
And-
wrangler on Ladies
right.
Book Club 32.
But I saw a lot of people
She loves
just
a
simply
scarf.
sharing really good clips of Diane Keaton.
La-dee-da.
And
I love that movie so fucking
much.
much. I love it so much.
Like, I don't know. It's celebrity death is a weird. Death
Yeah,
is a
no,
weird
and
thing.
it is complicated as hell. I think it's become stupid and fucking annoying online, but it's always been complicated. The first celebrity death that I remember. Well, there have been celebrity deaths that were a big deal when I was younger. Obviously Elvis would be a really big one, but the one that really got me for the first time on a personal level was John Lennon. And it's not even for the most, fascinating or adulatory reasons. It's because I liked the Beatles as a little kid. And I had just that very year started buying Beatles albums. And I had just gotten, actually, I'm sorry, I'm going to get the chronology slightly wrong here. But like I got Double Fantasy for Christmas that year. So that would be 3 weeks after he died. But I was well into my like listening to Abbey Road every day period at that time. And when he died and the way that he died, it was a new feeling for me because even as young as I was, let's fast forward a little bit. Let's say, God forbid, somebody in a band I love, like one of my big bands, God forbid, somebody in one of those bands dies today. That's going to hit me on so many levels, not least because, hey, that's one of my guys. Like that person's just a little bit older than me. And I revered them and they greatly improved the direction of my life. And now they're gone. It's not just to go like, oh, Bob Denver, you were so great on Gilligan's Island. It's something, there are times when people go and you're like that. And then to just state the obvious, it comes out of nowhere. You may not have thought about that person in quite a while. You suddenly remember what they used to mean to you. You see the photo in the paper of how fucking old they got. And that hits you all at once, but then right alongside that punch is, hey, that's my guy. That's one of my people that died. Like, it's one thing when like Chubby Checker dies, and then like quite another thing if somebody from King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard died.
I'm gonna bring up Charlie Kirk again, but I could see like every. It is difficult to talk about, but like I could see, like young people hurting.
You sure you want to do this, Alex?
No. I do because
do you read the papers? Do you know what happens to people who say things like this?
No. I'm saying.
See, 4 people were deported because of what they said on social media about him.
Yeah,
4 people were deported. They were fucking deported because of what they said on social media about Charlie Kirk.
Yep. Yeah. Which is
you probably wouldn't understand. You're in Chicago now. Out here in San Francisco.
Oh boy!
Oh boy!
That's
oh boy!
This has been another humility. Oh, it is. Being downtown sure is weird.
You should have. Who should have humility? Or those fat, meaty pork chop men stuffed into those
so
little.
Funny.
So fucking funny.
I'm
sorry. It's funny. If you can't find that funny, all those pork chop men waddling around being bullied. That's so fucking funny. Because they're professional bullies.
Yes.
They're all, everybody out there, there's this author. You guys, just so you know, I probably mentioned this before, there's an author I really like named Kurt Vonnegut. And he wrote a book in the 60s called Slaughterhouse-Five. And there's a character in it named Roland Weary. And Roland Weary is a canonical character. Like, he is THE example of a certain type of person. And he's a guy in Billy Pilgrim's unit who he's funny. He's got every piece of equipment he was ever issued. He's constantly talking about cool ways to kill people, and he's totally a bully. And people were always ditching him, and he hated being ditched. Mm-hmm. But no matter how hard, the line I always remember, no matter how hard he washed, he always smelled like bacon. And it's like, to me, I see those guys rolling out of that truck, and I just see like 6 or 8 Roland Wearies with a mustache.
I first saw that photo and I told you I thought like, wow, those guys belong in Chicago just because they look like the typical big fat Chicago guy. Like, and I say that with all.
No, I didn't initially make the connection with the bear. I'm sorry, Alex and I are talking about something circuitously because we don't want to get in trouble. But Alex had texted me a funny photo of some, as we would say in my community, some Zoftig first responders. Title. Have you ever used that? Hey, have you ever used that code word, Zoftig?
No, I don't think I've heard it ever said.
It's a Yiddish word. Look up Zoftig. You say like, Zoftig, it would be the way you say it, and then there's a pause, and then you say, she's got a great personality. And there's another pause,
Jewish,
and then you say, she makes her own clothes. That's always the tip off.
Yep.
A Zoftig gal.
There we go. Well,
these Zoftig first responders they apparently pulled them off the job because people were bullying.
You're not doing this justice.
All right.
Hey,
I just don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get deported.
I'll get in trouble. It is.
I don't think
it's
you get to pick.
October 2025. Who gets in trouble? I mean, if they're gonna.
Whose house? Ron's house.
It's October 2025, and the National Guard, along with ICE, has been sent to Chicago for this lovely. I mean, not ICE is seriously fucking stuff up.
Well, they're
It's
sent
been
there because the
quite
city's
a
on fire,
few-
Alex.
Yes, and it's really it's hard to honestly joke about the ICE stuff in Chicago because
It's
like
deeply,
that is just
deeply fucked up. Some of the videos that people have made are just holy shit. I don't know how you watch those videos and not just see masked authoritarian. This is not fun to talk about. Boy, what a terrible episode. Anyways, it's October 2025. Pew, pew, pew.
And ABC's Evan Chicago posted a photo of a bunch of I would not even consider them like fat men. Like they honestly are. I mean, like, yeah, they're like a few fat soldiers getting out.
If I was going to be in a foot race with those guys, I would feel pretty confident. I think in a 50-yard dash, I could toast those motherfuckers.
But the thing is, in my brain, I'm like Midwest law enforcement. You know what I mean?
Or like New York. I mean, you watch any like movie from the 70s or films from the 70s of what cops in New York in the 70s, go watch, Taking a Pelham 123, which might be the greatest movie. Ooh, have you ever seen that?
Oh, wait, what is it?
Have you ever seen the Taking a Pelham 123?
No.
All right, I'm going to capture that because I think that might want to be a challenge. Pelham 123. But no, you look at, they all just look normal people. It's just now everybody shaved their head and they're all ripped and they're probably taking steroids, except for the ones who are just eating pork chops.
So yes, these soldiers are getting out of a truck and they look like giant Chicago guys. And
they look like say it. They look like the guys in Da Bears sketch.
Yes, they look like
Chris Farley,
Da Bears guys.
Yeah.
Yes,
or at least Robert
Smigel.
Smigel.
I sent it to my friends, and I'm like, Chris Farley's here.
They don't look like Justin Theroux. It's a different kind of cop.
No. And I have been. Like we said, it's not fun to talk about, but there's been stuff going on in Chicago and I've been busy. And so I did not realize that this photo had gone viral and people were bullying, like, look at these fatty
what
troops.
You mean by by bullying. What you mean is, if I read this correctly, I mean they weren't going to their house and shitting in their mailbox or something. That they were basically making fun of them online.
Yes,
for how they looked, which we don't do because it's not funny.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a massage at Gen Con? The challenge this week is to talk about things
hold on.
Please, Alex, can we please save some of the show?
Because then I find out like
Charlie Clerk,
nope,
vaginal tears,
nope, anal prolapse,
obesity.
My friend texted me that they were being recalled. These fat soldiers were being recalled to Texas because they were too fat, and people and Pete Hegseth and his administration. They were
funny. I'm sorry, it's funny.
It is. It's fucking funny because
I understand that in my bones I've tried to change, and I have, but in this instance, it's funny.
No, okay, I am someone who...
But they sent them to Texas where they'd fit in better?
Yeah, that's... so then that is the thing. I thought it was a joke. I thought, oh my God, they're sending the fatties back. And, I am relatively fat. I mean, people depend. This is another part where I get in trouble of, when are you fat? Okay. When are you not fat? Okay. But the reason that immediately... I thought it was funny because these guys look like Chicago guys. And two, these, when I do think that it is important to talk about we don't make fun of people for how they look anymore, but it is much more you look like that, but also you have absolutely called a woman a fat ass. You have shamed other people. You have the reason
Don't
very
expect me to pop in
caricature
here
of what
and
you
defend
are.
cops. I'm the wrong person for
I-
that. But I will say that I do. I understand and have almost fully internalized that message, and I go out of my way to really try not to not say hurtful things, but also to increasingly try to stop sort of thinking hurtful things, just because I'm still responding to the
Yes.
same kind of dumb automatic reaction. And like, I wish people would give other people a break in their journey, in everybody's individual journey to getting better. But like, as is the case for the last 10 years, it is sometimes extremely difficult to hold myself to my usual standard with people who are not only actively being harmful, but are doing it in actively hypocritical ways. So like when you collect your paycheck because you buzz into this completely innocent town full of black and brown people and start wanting to like rustle them up. And it's anyway, like just say, for example, you were a businessman who has, I think somebody on the news pointed out the other day, whose hair has increasingly become the same color as his skin. Like, and you're just the picture of whatever not health is. It's so difficult to hear that guy call Rosie O'Donnell fat
Yes.
for years and years. I mean, if she hadn't left the country, I bet she'd be in jail right now. We used to joke about this in 2019. We used to joke about this. The exit strategy stuff, like around 2017. Remember Max talking about like figuring out, what to put in your bug out bag to get out of the goddamn country if you're targeted. Ha ha ha.
Well, I was gonna ask you about the idea of being. Sorry, now I just keep going back to like being humbled versus what humility is, and
Yes.
I do think I just thought it was very funny. Again, not just because like, fatties go home, but
Well, they're so attacked.
It is extra funny because
they're such tough
they're the
guys, but they're so
aggrieved people.
attacked. It's just I'm so sick of
Yes.
hearing about protecting these pork chop men in masks.
Yes, it's very. It's
Did you see them
like,
drag the
this
woman
is a
out of her car?
vulnerable-
Have you seen them drag that woman out of her car?
Yep.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Put the knee down on a guy's back till he can't breathe.
Yep. It is. Yeah.
Your community paid for that uniform
In
in every way. I mean, sorry. Okay. Hey, the thing about humility is
no, it's difficult to talk about only because it is like so fresh in my mind because it's
sure.
literally like, and it's also because the only blow up that I've been adjacent to was when I don't know if you saw what was happening on it's this neighborhood called Broadview, and I was bringing a friend from not O'Hare but the other airport in the Chicagoland area back home, and it goes down this street, Kedzie. And it happens there are some brown and black neighborhoods there, but this was when there were a bunch of smoke bombs going off, and it was the time that the cops got got tear gassed as well, and that was like the first like oh boy. But even what is like I don't want to say more upsetting, but like there's all of the images that go viral, but then you're still like 3 blocks by and like you're hanging this sounds like a fucking humble brag. That's why I feel weird talking about it. But like you're just then talking to this woman who is like, I don't even know, like, oh fuck, I dropped my phone. I don't know where my brother is. Like, what is
people
even
are being
happening?
taken into custody and they're just screaming. They're yelling out what their name is and
Mm-hmm.
what happened, so that somebody can go find them after they get disappeared.
Yeah, and especially then when like God, there's literally in a lot of these cases nothing you can do, and just also standing not being able to do anything with someone who's also not able to do anything, and I just it has been such an I don't know. It is the like unreality type of thing of like, all right, this is just this is just how it is now. And then you go from the actual Chicago area where there's the guys who look like they're dressed up for paintball, tackling people, and a lot of them. Like, we truly don't know, are they ICE or are they just helping out? Because none of their clothes match.
They don't have warrants.
They don't have.
I mean,
the
whole thing just feels like the SA.
They look it's. But if the SA just ran out of uniforms and then started, a lot of these guys would, if they weren't tackling. If they weren't tackling you, it would be a Chicago winter guy, like with the balaclava. Like that is a normal. It would be a normal sight. Like that. There's that guy just dressed up. Oh, now he is tackling somebody. Oh, there's also now someone
that
with
must seem surreal.
actual
That must feel so
army.
Surreal.
It's very well because it's. You do occasionally, shocking, witness violence in the world. And now it's like, well, is this government-sanctioned violence? Or is this a fight between two people? Or it's it is insane and weird. This is the worst show we've ever done.
Yeah, I tried several times to talk you out of several of these parts. The medical stuff is on me.
I just wanted to talk about the fat soldiers that were really funny because it's like these horrible, just these day-to-day horrors are happening.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, just knowing that someone is stupid enough to care enough to be like, I feel they look bad. You come home. This is bad. When they're they are supposed to be the theatrics, because that very day, I know, so it was a different day. Like when you're in downtown Chicago, you go from the scary guys with masks to the also scary guys. But, they are in full uniform and they are, they were clearly pulled from a desk somewhere and they just stand in line and they're walking around and tourists are taking pictures of them. And that is almost as weird as seeing the violence, is just seeing the awkward, that feels like the SS-ish type of stuff. But, I mean... anyway, the fatties go home.
Ernst Röhm was a heavy guy.
Who?
Ernst Röhm, the head of the SA.
Yes. So was oh gosh.
He's also a friend of Dorothy.
Guy. Yeah. Oh, are we talking about the same guy? I think
his name's Ernst Röhm. I think we are. Yeah. What an odd question.
Well, he that was Hitler's buddy, right? And he kept they took him at the Night of the Long Knives when he was with his many man friends and locked him up in a cell with a pistol.
Tore his shirt off. He tore his shirt off and they shot him. Every depiction of it, they always make sure to show how they basically left him a gun and said, "You got to take care of this." And then he said, "I'm not going to do it." They came in and. Well, there was that Netflix series we watched, that really good series like Hitler, Circle of Evil or something like that.
Yeah.
William Shearer. I loved that series. Yeah, and that's a really good Ernst Röhm in that one. And then, of course, I've watched, let me check here, hundreds of YouTube videos about this. But yeah, Ernst Röhm, that was he was one of Hitler's earliest and most loyal compatriots. Eventually, I think it's valuable, instead of just always looking at the hierarchy of how it ended up, is to look at how it started, which is this ragtag group where you really had to know that you can trust your pals. And Ernst Röhm was one of his very closest, and his role became extremely important in, after Hitler was coming back, because there was a ton of actual real violence on the street. And it wasn't just fascists, it was also communists. but whoever it was, there was chaos, and the economy had gone completely to shit, and like there's just these gangs fighting each other, and the SA came in and like was very organized, and they got pretty well funded, and then they straightened a lot of that out because they, as they always say, they liked a good punch up. But then by the time 33, 34 comes along, they are now causing so much of the violence that he promised his chancellorship would take care of. As well as like Ernst Röhm, he didn't care that he was gay. I mean, every account I've read, he really just didn't care. I mean, I guess except insofar as it's something that could be used against him, as it eventually was. But no, it was just that, Hitler, the deals Hitler needed to make were with, Krupps and Mercedes-Benz. The deals that he needed to make to like get and maintain power, he had to keep the Weimar happy, or excuse me, the Wehrmacht. He had to keep the army happy. The army was starting to feel really threatened. God, this episode fucking sucks. It's going to get worse too, because I'm going to read you part of the plot of Tetsuo Iron Man before we ding out. So it's going to get worse.
Good.
Can I just read you what I said and we'll leave soon?
No, let's
Well, how much more is there to say, Alex? It's an hour and 6 minutes. We still got to do another show.
I
do you want to talk about
what you wrote?
You can talk about your humbleness and your humility, but I don't want to talk anymore about vaginal tears or Charlie Kirk.
Oh God!
Or his
Oh
gums.
no!
Gums.
I just was spent the week thinking about if I value, or rather, like what makes someone humble. And
okay, yeah. So we've taken this from very different approaches. You're talking about it as a quality of somebody's character.
Yes, exactly. And then
that helps a lot to realialize that.
See, it's meta talk. I'll save it for the after show.
It's not. It's just we're approaching it from different angles, and in my own head, those words help me understand. You're talking about it as what I would call character.
Yeah. And I think I posted this on Blue Sky, but there's this song that like just completely encapsulates the Catholic school, specifically like the middle school aspect of going to a Catholic school. And God, just it's odd how I can be like, I think, humbled by suddenly realizing just how I am floored by when I say trauma, I mean it like in the sense that we talk about it, not like like, oh, trigger warning, this is very upsetting, but just how
they are related.
Thinking about
I mean, they're heavily related.
Yes, but just
I don't think people are making it up.
No. God, the naked swimming. Can't stop thinking about it.
School policy.
But like a lot of the, a lot of fucked up things that went on in Catholic school weren't even the, the pedophilia type the pedophilia type thingies. Not a title, but would have been one of the worst one. How you can be just humbled by remembering slightly traumatic experiences and how it can floor you.
Is that different than feeling ashamed?
I don't know.
See, that's why I'm trying to avoid, from mine anyway, that's why I'm trying to avoid that, is because like to be humbled by something has almost the feeling of a first mover, of what Aristotle would call a first mover. Not a first mover as in like who gets to market with pet food online first. But
yes,
the first something causes something to happen in the world. The thing is, that's why I heard it differently. Is I heard you saying, because I was talking about an experience, I forget what it was, but something that humbled me, and I thought it was clear from what I was saying what I meant by that, which is that like again that it makes me feel comfortable being small in a big world. That there's a kind of what I did mean was to humble somebody as in like take them down a peg or put them in their place, or, you know what I mean? Any of those kinds of things where it's like, and that the reason one reason I think it gets complicated, at least for me, is that those negative connotations are there for a reason. Because you can talk about this subjectively as trauma, or you can talk about it objectively as a kind of, there's a lot of institutions that have a lot of assertions about how you should live. And one of the ways that we maintain consent is by getting people into an emotional situation where they won't do the kinds of things that cause us trouble. And one of the ways to do that is to make people humble, to create humbleness in them, to, in the case of the particular sort of religious background that I'm from, to make people really understand what their place in the order of things is. Yes, you're top of the food chain. Yes, you were made on the sixth day. You were made on the good day. Title. Capture that. All those things. And yet, we also then, at least in my testament, you get into the idea of original sin and how you enter this world with a fucking debt to existence. Jesus died for your sins. He was the only one who was without sin. He was the Son of God, and you're part of the species that killed Jesus. So now every child born into this world has something. It's not just an NXS song. It's also, that's the concept, original sin. And it's like, it's the sin that you're born with, which sounds like a Lady Gaga record. But, I'm tempted to apologize, but I'm not going to apologize because I think the thing that I'm saying here is important and needs to be said more often. Why I'm getting slightly less uncomfortable talking about things like trauma. If we don't start noticing the emotional coercion that's built into our institutions, it's going to be hard to get better as people, let alone as a society. And when we, in our own, now listen closely, because this is, if you listen to the MPU, if you listen to the MPU, you're going to see some connections here. When we reflexively try to create invulnerability, when we reflexively generate or put negativity out into the world, we do all these kinds of things. We are often unintentionally underscoring the institutional coercions that made us how we are. So again, see also, hey, my family beat the shit out of me every day for no reason, and I turned out fine. Which, I'm putting that some kind of extremely, let me put it in a less extreme way. This is the way everybody said this into my adult life. My dad hit me and I turned out fine. Is something people used to say a lot. And I feel like at a certain point in life, I started hearing that, and you would hear it. This is not something that happened in the 70s. This just, people would say this. I hit my kids because my dad hit me and I turned out fine. Like there's all kinds of levels to that. But on the face of it, like a priori, if you're saying that, you're not okay. It's like, the thing is, somebody who's had 2 drinks, you'll notice somebody who's had 1 drink or 2 drinks is often the person who's most likely to not want to drive. Somebody who's had 1 or 2 drinks, even if they're fine to drive, like literally, empirically fine, like maybe it's a big guy, maybe it's a big cop and he had 2 drinks. That's not going to be enough to make him drunk, but he still has his sense about him. He still has his wits about him and knows, I don't want to risk it. Somebody who's had 4 or 5 drinks, maybe I'll just drive a little bit. I'll drive slow. But somebody who's had like a 12-pack, the most confident driver you've ever met in your life. At the very moment when you wish that person could call upon the best judgment they've got about something, they are incapable of exercising that judgment because of how they are. I don't want to put this too oversimply, but like somebody who's had like the better part of, a 12-pack of beer is not in a position to decide whether they should drive. And they're the last person in the world who would know and let alone admit that. And you know why? It's because they're drunk. Have you seen that we've got into sort of a logical circle here? Well, that's the problem. And sometimes those sorts of negative loops or those kinds of harmful loops are really, really hard to get out of. So my case that I wanted to make here, which is very different from yours, although I love yours, is that
That's why the rules are fun and the challenges are fun.
Oh, I'm not complaining.
This is due by
No.
Friday.
okay. No, but when I think about, I would love to get to the point where I can be confident enough to talk about examples of this without sounding like I'm trying to be fancy. But like, there's music that like really deeply moves me. So okay, let's leave aside the classical because that maybe let's talk about a band called the Cindy's, who have a single out right now. The Cindy's made this song, I think it's called Dry TV, and it's my favorite song that I've heard this year. I was second viewer of the video on YouTube, which probably now has like, I don't know, probably 200 views. I don't know. It's one of those bands where it's like, well, I don't have any stake in whether they become popular and successful, but I do have a stake in like going, holy shit, this is one of those, like, it would take me 3 paragraphs to describe why I like this band. Short version is it's like Teenage Fan Club meets New Zealand Flying Nun bands and The Clean, like but like kind of via just a lot of Australian continent, but they're from England. Anyways, I listened to that song, Dry TV, wonderful lyrics, just right up my alley in terms of mid-tempo power pop. And by the time I get to the end of that song, I've got shivers and I listen to it again. And I do that with Iron Lung by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. That one video that I'm always posting, and it's got you see the guy with the head with the curly hair and the mustache and they're singing, and I say, this is the greatest live performance I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I don't know why it's important to me to share that, but it is. That's an example, though. Those things, I could say this about Jacqueline Dupre, playing Elgar. I could say this about a lot of stuff, but this does, whatever your version is. Maybe it's a tall baseball man hits baseball good. Like whatever that is for you, though. The way I can describe this is when it is successful, and it is often with art. So I'm cheating a little bit here. I feel like a ridiculously small part of a suddenly much larger world. And it's gotten to the point now where I sort of speculate about myself, and if I'm being honest, I speculate about others. Is part of your problem that you have decided you're a very large person in an increasingly small world? Because if you feel like your world has gotten small, I mean, you don't have to be Jonathan Swift to figure this shit out. Like maybe that's context. Maybe you're a giant or maybe you're little. I don't know. But the opportunity to find oneself satisfied and peaceful about realizing what a small part you are, a smaller part than you realized of a world that's bigger than you realized. And then it occurred to me that I kind of said this in the document, and I'll quote myself here. Find moments of grace where you feel gratitude for the gift of having a small place in a world that is much bigger, older, and more interesting than you are. And I think that's what I'm talking about. And yeah, music's great. It can help distract you while you're doing data input. But I hope to God everybody out there finds something that situates them as something very, very small in a way that is ultimately extremely rewarding. You can get it from religion. That's a big part of faith in some ways. Well, not faith per se, but a wholesome religious experience. Part of that is like you're part of a congregation. Like that's a very meaningful term. That's your boys. Mm-hmm. But I just want to believe that people can find it out there. I worry that there's a lot of noise that people really honestly invite into their world that's not making their cognition, decision-making, and emotional stability better. And like one way, surprising way, is to have the experience of something where you go, oh man, it isn't just that all my problems went away, because they don't. That's the real problems float. But you can do a soft reset on yourself to realize how very, very fortunate you are to be alive at all. And to be this little tiny part of this world where miracles happen, like every single day. If you let the world get bigger, and then consequently let yourself get smaller. And it doesn't make you less important or significant or human or anything. But the bigger you think you are in the world, the less likely you are to realize how good that world is. And when you let yourself feel a little bit contextually, situationally smaller, I mean, I'm never going to invent calculus, but I can sure appreciate the bridges that we make. And like, I don't know, there's just so much miraculous stuff around. I hate to sound like such a hippie, but there's so much miraculous stuff around us every day. And it's not the world's fault that it's not working out the way you want. There's nobody alive who thinks things worked out the way that they wanted. There's never been anyone alive who really thought that, I don't think. Look how unhappy royalty is. You know, it seems like they got a pretty good gig. Seems like rich people should be really happy. Well, just think about, in terms of humility, humbleness, things that humble you, the transitive verb, just think about things that give you an opportunity to become gratefully smaller in a miraculously bigger world. So there's this movie.
Hit the bell.
There's a Japanese movie.
Oh, all right.
Let me see if I can find this. Oh, good. My Dremel's out for delivery. That's a relief. There's a Japanese movie from, let's see here, 1989. It's called Tetsuo the Iron Man. I am not recommending this movie, but I'm telling you about this movie. I would like to now, in toto, read you the entire second paragraph of the plot.
Okay.
And then, if you approve, I'll things out after that. You ready?
Yes, you've earned multiple bells. Please, please.
Well, it helps to know in the first paragraph, he has a self-inflicted wound in his thigh. Paragraph. At home, the salaryman sleeps next to his girlfriend and has a dream in which he is sodomized by organic metal machinery.
Oh.
Waking up, he either imagines or discovers that metal is taking over his body. When he attempts to have sex with his girlfriend, his penis becomes a metallic drill, which leads him to lock himself away from his girlfriend. She approaches him, saying she's not afraid of him, but he attacks her, and when he tries to sexually assault her with his transformed penis, she stabs him in the neck, causing him to fall into unconsciousness. The salaryman regains consciousness sometime later to find his girlfriend has impaled herself on his drill, killing her. You know about Morgellons?
Fuck.
Do you know about Morgellons? Do you know about Morgellons? You know about the things that, because of the plastics in your skin? You know? Yes. Joni Mitchell thought she had Morgellons. You know about Morgellons?
Yes. Yes.
Imagine Morgellons,
No.
but it's little metal shavings.
Yeah, and mansions coming in. Oh, God.
It's called Tetsuo the Iron Man, and I don't think it's a Marvel thing.
That's not Robert.
Do you think the word body horror sounds racist? Like, if you did have a fake Chinese accent, would that be offensive if I said body horror? That's okay, right? Hi.
See, I don't ask questions when I don't know what to say. I just don't say anything.
Tell me no lies. Hey, look how early it is. 11:55.